use up all our time here yapping. I'm just going to read to you guys again. I got a short little intro. Like I said, my name is Dyllan Matt. I'm an intuitive and certified holistic empowerment results coach. I'm the founder of InsideOrOutside.com metaphysical magazine, the founder of this podcast. Ty is my lovely, gracious guest host. He's also a tarot reader. You guys can find readings with him. Most of you know him. He also sells art and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, Awoke Berquist here on TikTok as well as on Instagram, guys. So you can follow him there as well. Today, as I said, we're going to dive into one of the most thrilling and sort of fast evolving realms of modern science, biotech, right? From DNA editing to lab-grown hearts, we're witnessing the redesign of human potential at cellular level. I don't know if y'all would agree with that, but there's some very interesting things going on. Hold up, guys. This isn't really just science class. We're not, we don't really want to give you a bunch of facts and stuff. This is where we're attempting to bring metaphysics to meet the mechanical. In other words, like the spiritual to meet the convention, or even the future to meet the past, if we want to look at it that way. Are we truly healing the body and the soul? Ty, what do you think? Are we the steps we're taking, the advancements we're making, are we healing things or are we making it worse?
Yeah, I'm kind of up and down on that, right? So I feel like there's definitely positions where we can help an actual individual to really step into something better, especially, and I'm gonna say this in a way of, I don't know about connecting with soul yet. I don't know about that. I'd have to take a little bit deeper and like actually do like a reading, a connection with my people to actually talk about that more. But I do think that there are some advancements that can, if you will, help. So there's different things, that's why I'm saying I'm very up and down about it, especially with past things. We'll talk about those here in a minute. So I'm very up and down on this. Yeah. I'm just.
So let me ask you, are you 50-50, 60-40, and in what direction? Are you totally 50-50 or where are you?
Yeah, right now I'm still like 50-50 because there's certain things you can get into that you can enjoy. Like you could be like, hey, this could be awesome, right? But then you also have to realize, I mean, we're talking, we're going to be talking about here in a minute. We're going to be talking about the GMOs, we're going to be agriculture. Those things are actually hurting the human body. So if it's hurting the human body, is it also hurting how you connect to your soul? I feel like it is, and so that's bad on me. Like I'm not cool with that. Now, if all of a sudden you're going, hey, we're going to make something better, but we're going to talk about all this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got more to talk about. Yeah.
Good job. Thank you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm kind of asking, so I want to ask everybody too. We got 3 of us in the podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks, Floyd, for showing up and supporting us. Ish, if you're here as well, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Kathleen, for supporting us. I want to ask you guys, where are you? On the fence with biotech. Biotech covers a lot of stuff, right? It's not just our food. It's not just our vaccines. Biotech can be in our food. It can be in our our creams, our medicines. It's literally in everything. Technology is in everything. Okay, so what is tech though, right? What classifies as biotech and how technological does it have to be for it to be qualified tech? So the idea is, we're kind of asking, we want you to consider, right? We want you guys to weigh in, like obviously with us, but in your own life and in society. Essentially, that's why we're doing this. How do you feel? Just ask yourself that question right now in this moment. Am I in favor of like getting my hands in my own clay in this really deep, intense kind of way? Or is that something that should be more left, for the divine to look after, and we are just to go about our business, whatever that is, without that? It looks like I'm frozen, guys. Am I frozen?
A little bit. You're going in and out, but you're good. Your voice is still there. But yeah, just the video. You're good. Your voice is still there, but yeah, the video is kind of going in and out, but you're good.
So I'll leave you. You can see where we're at in the script here. So we're working off the script to just kind of make a little flow today, guys. We're just being totally honest. The opening spark. Why don't you ask that question about that first question? It's basically what excites you most about, or sends chills down your spine about where biotech is headed. Like, are you excited about it? Is there any aspects that you're like, dang, if that's what it's about, let's take that? Or is there anything specifically that stands out to you that's like scary as crap that it's just going to send you running the other direction? What excites you most about it? Are you with me, or is it all broken
You
still?
asking me? Yeah, no, you're good. No, you're good. You're good. I was
I'm
hoping
asking
we
you.
get some comments. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get some comments. I know there's a little bit of
Yeah.
a lag there, but I was really going to see what other people wanted to say before I answered, because it'd be cool to see. I like the interaction, through people.
Looks
So
like
I
there's
was
something
hoping
with
we'd get
internet too.
some interaction from some people. But I can tell you, with me, it's a more like I'm more. And if you're asking me, a bit, because I know they make medicines that aren't great. But once again, these are things we'll talk about later. But my big thing is with the actual agriculture, like with actual food and GMOs. Those are the things that bug me the most. But that's just the small part. There's doing so much more now. They're doing so much more. So how do how do you say yes or no with all of that? But I was hoping to see some answers for from some of our followers in here who are hanging out. What they think. It's like, how's everybody doing? What's up? He was asking if you think that biotechnology is good or bad. So I think that biotechnology is good or bad. So um, he is back.
I'm back. My apologies.
No,
We
you're
can't
good. You're good.
control
Yeah. So
internet.
I was just trying to ask them. I was hoping to see some people like actually answer, because I would like to know what other people think about it. You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? What's up, Stephanie? Jeremy, how are you doing?
We'll just ask the question again. So I apologize, guys. Internet was going down. There's nothing I can do about that. We're
Absolutely.
talking about some pretty major stuff, right? And both of us are energy workers. I'll let you know this straight up. When I do my energy work, and lots of times when I do my tech stuff, my tech does not work. The energy that we bring is overpowering that EMF stuff. So that's my little whatever in terms of anybody who's an energy worker will tell you the exact same stuff. It does the weirdest crap. We are so powerful, guys. This is why we're talking about this, because you have no idea. Most people don't have any clue how powerful you are, the decisions and how they affect you, your mindset and all that. So my apologies if we have to back up here. So Ty, I'm going to ask you this straight up just to keep the flow going. If biotech was a tarot card today, what would it be? Go ahead and pull out your cards if you want to, ask your guides, whatever. I'm not going to fill it in, but we've got 3 in the as examples here. I want to hear from everybody. If biotech was a card, what would it be?
It'd be the wheel of balance, the wheel of fortune. It'd be the understanding of why you're using it, how you're using it, and the focus on the position that you're taking it in. So it'd have to be a perfectly balanced understanding, which is a perfect card for that, actually, because I just told you I'm 50-50 on it. So that's a perfect card, right? So it's very much about how, I mean, I just pulled it. So it's right there, which is kind of funny to me because I really didn't think that was going to be the card that I pulled. But it's very much about how it is balanced into what you were trying to create. And so, you've got, you have, I'm not going to talk too long. You got humans. We'll talk about all that later. Never mind. That's it. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much about what you're using it for and why you're using it. That's going to be the biggest part. That's going to be the biggest part. Yeah, absolutely.
Have any of you guys heard about CRISPR? Have you heard about this? CRISPR.
I have not.
It's not. They're not the chips or the crackers, or whatever. There are those, but CRISPR is basically this buzzword about gene splicing. You've heard of
Oh,
gene
yeah.
splicing? What can you tell me about gene splicing? What do you know about gene splicing?
That scares me because that's a little bit of of a misunderstanding, right? Like, so I think that they're doing that, and it's causing a little bit of fear in people, but it's also going to be, what is it going to do to that person?
That's a great question. So
Yeah.
if I were to continue here, CRISPR, it's not just a sci-fi buzzword like we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's actually working in medicine to help people. And some of the things that it's doing, they're using it for is if you're splicing your DNA, it's essentially you can put codes in there that's like your program that's going to make your body do something other than what it has been doing, good or
Right.
bad. It depends on the process and the type of code. But essentially, it's curing real diseases.
Well, like I was
So
about to say, they're using it a little bit. My apologies. They're using it a little bit for people with who can't walk, things like that. Like they're trying to do that as well, right? I think they're trying to do that.
potentially CRISPR and gene, I don't know if it's CRISPR specifically, but gene splicing can be used to regrow a limb. I can't remember which lizard it is, but there's several lizards that they drop their tail and they'll grow back within a week, right?
I mean geckos, and there's multiple. There's big ones. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the nature guy. And
Yeah.
humans, we have skin cells. Those reproduce, I can't remember, it's like some are 72 hours. There's a bunch of different, depending on the types of cells, and I've heard all kinds of different stories, some scientific, not so much, that your body completely reproduces itself every so
Years.
many days, 3 months or whatever it is. I can't remember.
7 years of your body's completely
7 years.
changed in 7 years. But yeah, you're moving. Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
No, you're good. I appreciate you
Yeah.
throwing out the proper numbers. So, like sickle cell cancer, or sickle cell anemia.
Mhm.
Anemia is like a weakness essentially in your blood. Your blood has a job to do and it's not able to do it. A real simplified way of saying that. And then, DNA is our deoxyribonucleic acid. That's just, everybody knows that that's the twisted ladder that has all of our information that says if it's a Dyllan DNA and it's masculine and chromosomes and all that, it's going to make a male Dyllan or whatever. If it's
That's in line.
written
Yeah.
differently, it's going to make a female something else or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the blueprint for humans.
Yes.
You all guys know this, but essentially, then if you can access your blueprint, any of you guys who've built a house or crafting, if you have a plan that you follow or followed a course, there's a progression, right? So the DNA is built like a ladder, and I don't know for sure, but intuitively it tells me that it's progressive. Things build on top of each other. So if you can, they're talking about anemia. So your body's representing in such a way that your blood is not strong, and so you don't have maybe enough white blood cells, say, that to fight infection or something, or maybe you don't produce enough blood or whatever. You could potentially then jump on that ladder with some little nano fellas, rewrite that code, and send that code to work. And next thing you know, you could potentially have blood that's producing at a higher rate the white blood cells or what have you. Yeah, essentially, it's not much different if you were to compare the human to a house, to patching your stucco or patching your drywall, or putting up a new wall in the house and stuff. But we want to look at sort of, we're talking about metaphysics. We want to look at what the soul, on the soul level or the spirit level, when we use those tools and we take those routes. Yeah, maybe, and this is going to come back to metaphysics, guys, so just bear with us, but yeah, maybe in the moment we make that situation better for a moment, but what's the long-term cost or the long-term investment? And if the person, and I don't know if you believe this, guys, this is just be mine, I don't know if Timothy believes this, but all dis-ease is dis-ease. It comes from energy not doing what it's supposed to do, essentially. So if we are, as humans, are allowed to live in such a way that we do whatever and we get all these things wrong with us, and then we could just chop and splice and cut and snip all of our self back together like Mr. Potato Head or whatever, how does that affect our soul? Are we growing? Does it mean, if we avoid suffering, does that mean that we learn through the big separation through contrast? And we don't know. This is essentially what we're asking. We want to, we want you guys to chime in this. It's going to be the case, at least for myself and my way of thinking, it's going to be the case of however you feel it's going to be for you, and however it's going to be for you. And then, sort of like we did before in the last episode, we were talking about body modifications. You're going to have to weigh it. You're going to have to go with how it feels at the end of the day. Do you feel better? Is your psyche more peaceful and all that kind of stuff? But without having sort of like the initial understanding, look, I might be circumventing things that piece of the puzzle becomes sort of like, it could potentially be the corner piece in your puzzle. Oh, that's missing. Jeez, what happened to this puzzle? How come we can never complete this puzzle? And if it works out in such a way back to the ladder that it was, let's just say it's not the first rung, maybe it's rung 2, and you skipped rung 2, what do you step on to get to rung 3, and so on? It's kind of metaphorically breaking it down that way for you guys, but that's kind of that's why that's how we're breaking it down for you. So DNA is more than data, essentially. Okay, you are more than data. You are more than machinery, is what I'm kind of trying to get at. Do you agree with that? Do you think I'm off on a tangent? Obviously on a tangent.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, the DNA is definitely way more, and that's the whole point about the agricultural and GMO thing. Like, it's what we've already been putting in our bodies that is taking it away. We're supposed to have, I think it's 8, could be 12, I can't remember, but we only have 4 of the DNA twirls, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're supposed to have.
Yeah, we better not talk about science things.
Yeah. So I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, we're way lower than what we're supposed to have, and they've already got into that. But that has a lot to do with what we're already putting in our bodies that is bad. But I do think, I mean, there's ways that they can help, and I do think that there are great ways that we can, advance our bodies. I think that we are already strong enough as a soul, like as who we are. We are already strong enough. And I think that's where it comes down to, because, even in the places that I've been or places that I've been through, and done and had to go through, and still to be here right now, walking and looking and saying, wow, I can still connect and understand with energy is that's just amazing. And I didn't have to go get any kind of right, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's like, that's the whole point. But
well, then, so can I ask you then, where is the power? Sorry, I'm going to jump in again, and Kathleen's given us the time. So where is the power then? Where does our power go? If we, instead of going through it in a natural process and we choose to use an external tool, where does our power go? Does it stay in us, or does it go externally? What happens to the power of healing?
Healing? Yes. Okay. Yes. So your healing power is going to go externally towards someone else, but it doesn't mean you can't heal yourself. Now, I don't want you to think that you can just be like, I'm healed. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be like, I'm healed. That's not how it works. But we put our time and energy into what we need. And so this is why a lot of people who are healing themselves aren't around a lot of people. It's like people who say, I don't have any friends. Well, maybe that's because the friends that you had were taken from you. You know what I mean?
Weren't really friends. Weren't really friends.
Yeah, were they actually friends? Yeah. And you have to remember that. Yeah, there you go. There, look, Nina just said it right there. Nina said it as I was saying it. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just how it works. It's a very difficult, energetic process. I just went outside to ground, and there's not a lot of energy outside right now, which is weird because I've got trees all around me. I've got beautiful things happening, but I couldn't see or feel the energy off the trees, which is really weird for me. Right. I was like, I felt weird, I was like, this is weird. So I'm looking outside where I was standing outside in the grass and the ground, and I was saying, what's happening? And so there's things that happen like that. There's things where there's moments, if you will, that the connection is not as strong. But if you're giving your energy out, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, it sounds like you're saying then if we take the shortcut, it could potentially ground out our power or ground out our recharging. Maybe we won't get that same level of connection because sort of the original investment, which was what we're qualifying as the disease or the problem, we didn't need to go through that. So there's not the reason to connect. So like, I don't know, if we take a shortcut in some respects, does that mean that we're missing part of the journey?
I would go like this. We cannot in any way control the disease. Okay? We control who we are emotionally. Some of us came here already with the disease. I mean, you got to remember, people are born with these things. There's no way to go, oh, you're fixed, okay? But I don't think there's a shortcut I don't think there's a shortcut. I think there's an energetic process of the mind and the heart that allows us to get through it, to move through it and process it and know who we are. I think that's very important. This is like
Okay, hold on a second. Jump in the comments here. You got a comment from Kathleen about what you're offering.
What's
She
going
has a
on?
question. She's essentially saying, but isn't it true that if you take a shortcut, then that becomes your journey? And so then that becomes the new path on which you would learn. So essentially, because you chose it, wouldn't spirit meet you there anyway? And wouldn't you still learn?
Yes, that's the whole point. That's exactly what I was just saying. Yeah, that's what you chose to do. This is who you chose to be. It wasn't like you're not like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to be hurting. But it's a thing where this is where you're at because of where you are here on this earth today, because of what you're doing. This is very important. Also allows you, and this is something that I wrote down here. Are we not already strong enough to grow with the connections to the world compared to changing who we are as people or souls? So it's like a whole thing. Like it's, yes, exactly what she said. I agree with that 100%. We're here. This is who we are, and this is who we're supposed to be. And so, yeah, it's just what we're doing. But
let's move on to the next one. Then.
I like to see people healed. I'd like to see that. I'll cry.
Let me ask you then, if you could heal, if we're talking about biotech, if there was a technology, a biological technology that was available for you, and you could heal your ancestral line with a single gene tweak, would you do it? Yours or your mother? If your mother was sick with cancer and you knew that a visit to the gene splicing guru would remove her, pain or give her vision back or whatever, would you do that? And would you do it for yourself?
That's right. I wouldn't do it for myself. I'm not worried about that. I don't even go to the doctor now. I'm not 100% healthy. I can promise you that. I don't know. That's tough because,
So no for you.
Yeah, no, maybe not for me. I definitely know.
Your mom or your kid or your partner.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. That's a very tough question. I guess it'd have to be in the moment. That's rough. That's a rough question. Now you went deep on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Because I don't want to change things that are supposed to be.
We can come back to it. Kathleen says yes. If you don't know, you don't know. Kathleen says yes, 100%. But I'm curious, is it for you, Kathleen, or is it for somebody else? You put your thing in the comments. The next question is, are we healing dysfunction? Goodbye dementia for grandma. Yeah, right? Exactly. So are we healing dysfunction or designing perfection?
Tally said she would because I want future generations to go through what I have.
Yeah.
So she said she would. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tally. Let me ask you guys. I'll ask you and the viewers. Is biotech is the technology or the industry of biotechnology healing our dysfunctions, or is it designing imperfection? By us monkeying with it, are we actually bringing in healing, or are we making things worse? And who decides that? I guess I will ask, and I'll leave that question for you guys in the comments. Ty, next question.
Gotcha.
Or unless you have something for me, because I don't want to be the only guy over here.
Yeah, well, let's do this. Now we'll do this real quick, just because it's here. Like, if we were to change ourselves, who would we trust to change? Like, if we could do it. Now, that's another point you were just kind of talking about. Would you just go back and change loved ones? Or would you?
Okay, there's two. I hear two questions, and I want to clarify the question you're asking me. One question sounds like you're asking me, who would I trust to change to do the gene splicing, or who would I trust?
If you could change somebody to be stronger, who would you trust? But also, now that there is two questions, because you just brought up that last question, so that makes me think too. Who would you change? Who would you? If you could heal, if you could do it, if you could do that, like, who would you do it to? Yeah.
So for me personally, that question I understand. So for me personally, who would I do it to? Anybody that asked me and I had authorization and I felt in my soul that it felt like the right thing to do, and they weren't under some kind of I wasn't aware that they're under duress or some other
Right.
so whatever is their free will, the free will of the people in my life is my free will. So for others, yes, 100%. But again, I'm like you. On the day that that happens, something happens in my soul, and I go, "Hey, wait a fucking, you
Yeah.
know."
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm
Well,
saying that
well,
today.
well, 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 yeah. Like I
Yeah.
got you.
But
Yeah.
tomorrow, if somebody goes through it, I mean, that's the best I can give you today. But tomorrow, and when it actually were to happen, like, I have a person here that's talking about someone that I know. They're talking about Bruce, this person that I know. Would I, you know, if I had the ability or the authority or the means or whatever to offer them something other than what they were doing, um, again, so long as they were fully aware, fully cognizant, and it was mutual and my soul felt, yeah, 100%, it's yours. For myself personally, again, I think it'd be very much specific to the situation. We talked before, I think we had this show about wings. So if
That's what I was kind of talking about. Yeah, that was my first question. Yeah, if you could make someone better, if you were doing, because that's what they're doing now. They're trying to actually, they're actually, yeah. So that's yeah,
hybrids, yeah, we're more
yeah.
than just
Who would you
doing things
trust?
for betterment in terms of like resolving issues. We're definitely taking perfectly able-bodied people now with able minds, and we're augmenting them. So that's a whole nother. It's part of biotech, but it's not in terms of like if we're talking about medical relief or like a better quality of life in terms of if you don't do it, it's going to be bad. That's one scenario. But if everything is the way it is,
Hold on.
you're
Sorry.
good.
No, no, you're good. I was talking to somebody in the comments.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
if it's
sorry about that.
if you're and again, it's not for me to decide, but like if you're the dude and you think that you want bigger biceps and you want to be 6'8" or whatever the deal is, and you can go do such and such, if for whatever reason you brought it to my attention, we talked about it, like maybe as a coach or something like that, I would be asking you the same things. Like, what is your motive? Is it because you don't love you? You know, are you not good enough the way you are? If any of those things come out, not worthy, not good enough, not strong, whatever those things are, for me and myself personally, my counsel would be something like, well, you know, are you going to be good enough once you have this, and how far would you have to go to be good enough, and all that kind of stuff. I would be asking some of those serious questions, but um, that was kind of it for myself. I don't understand your other question about who would I
Yeah, well,
choose.
that was the whole point. Again, that's why I told Nina just to wait because yeah, that's the whole point, Nina. It's that are we trying to be gods these days, or are we understanding that we have to already be a part of what God is? And so that's a very important thing because Nina said we're not God, and that's a very important point. Like, you know, we can change whatever we want through science, but should we be? I mean, we're already people of what is connected to all things. Should we be making the changes? I don't know. But
That's a
they're
good
doing it.
question.
They're making it happen. I don't
Let's move
know.
on. We finally finished our first segment, guys. Awesome. Let's move
Yeah.
on to segment two. Before we were talking about what was even the first one? Gene editing and CRISPR. Guys, we're going to move into brain-computer interfaces.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Self-manufactured brain computer, like Neuralink. You guys have heard of the word Neuralink? Tesla, not Tesla. What's his name? Elon Musk.
Elon, yeah.
The big as a proponent for it. I believe he's actually got some technology there, and there are some companies that have wherever you work you have to have some implants and stuff that may not be necessarily the Neuralink. We're talking about Neuralink as in augmenting your brain, downloading
Actually,
information right into your brain, right out of the right off the internet or some media like that, Wi-Fi or whatever.
so we're
So
not talking about the actual implant. We're talking about being able to
it
actually.
can be an implant. So Neuralink can be, and I don't know a lot about it, so guys, you'll have to help me with this. But Neuralink can be an implant, but it can also be influential by other means. It doesn't just mean implants. You can have a Neuralink. In some ways, when you put a brain scanner on your head or whatever, it's a neural link. It's offering a link between the neurons and some kind of an interface. That's essentially what Neuralink is. Neura is coming from brain, and link obviously from connection. So this technology specifically is like you logging into your hard drive of your computer, to look at a given set of photos, to watch a video or something like that. Well, you're going to do that into your brain. I'm going to log into my brain because I want to play a given set of affirmations or a given set of mental programs. That's what they're talking about. You can add data to your DNA, but you can also upload and download data based on the electrical impulses that you offer, the electricity that's already running in your brain. Your brain is a great big battery. Your whole body's a big battery. You're an electromagnetic battery. So Neuralink and others are merging thought and technology, creating new hope for the paralyzed and new frontiers of cognition. This is beautiful. So when I read that, I hear inside of this, so this is a computer. Let's call this your what do you call it? Theme. So your operating system, your theme, and sort of like essentially what they're saying is like the way that the brain can function. We talked before about anemia. If the brain is not telling the organs of the body to produce a given amount of chemicals and all that kind of stuff, well, here it's talking about paralysis from a stroke, possibly from a brain aneurysm, or from a stroke, blood clot, or some other, maybe a pre-existing condition. But they're talking about being able to plug in and start to pull on, tap on the spider web, essentially, put electrical signals into the brain that triggers the brain to do things that it otherwise wouldn't be doing because it's not functioning in the way that it should. And or above that, when we talk about augmentation, so that's medicine, but augmentation over and above. So like when something's wrong, they're paralyzed, left side doesn't move because of a stroke or whatever, and the right side, is good. And then there's the augmentation. It's like, Neuralink, we want to stimulate the brain so the person gets in a really excited state or something like that. Something that's over and above the natural, good feeling, well-being state of the individual. So that's kind of the nutshell of this interlink. So the real metaphysical moment sort of in this is understanding if the brain is a receiver of consciousness, if that's a fact, who's tuning the station. So what am I saying? Neuralink, the brain, and electrical, blah, blah, blah. If your brain is a receiver, if it's a computer, if it's sending and receiving signals, who's actually energizing that? Who's the planner of the radio show, essentially? So the sort of the moral questions around that are: is it you? If you go to Elon's factory or to his wherever it is, warehouse, whatever it is that you go get it done, is it us that's doing that and making those changes? And then once it's in place, how much autonomy or how much control do we have over it, really? And you said before something about trusting, like while you're under the knife or while you're out, or like, are they gonna? Sorry, not to scare everybody, but like, are they gonna hack in an old game of like Pong or Donkey Kong or something there, and every 10 steps you're gonna make some funny sound or whatever? There's this whole other side of things. Like, why would somebody want to control somebody else? Is it me that's going to control it? Is it computer? Is it autonomous electrical signals? Like, who's running the show at the end of the day, I guess? So I'm going to ask you, who do you think? If we were to mess with this, is it us still in charge, or does it become somebody else?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't. And I'm not trying to just be negative about it. I really don't think that we have control at that point. Although I did see the videos of the monkeys who learned how to turn on and off the computers and do those things. But they're just as smart anyways. I mean, I've also seen monkeys on the street drinking soda. You know what I mean? Smoking cigarette. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all that. So it's just kind of like, but no, I think that it's more of a control process. So both sides of our brain, right? We are supposed to be bringing them together, and that's where that link comes from. And the hardest part is to get to that point, especially with all the bad things we're putting in our bodies and everything we're doing is taking away from what we are connecting with in our brains. And trust me, I know, you know what I mean? So it's a whole big thing, but yeah, 100%. I do not want to go listen, if I knew that I was just about to go down and I was still young enough and wanted to be with my girl and I was doing things and they were like, we'll save your life, I might do it. Other than that, I'm not going to go search for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to work on creating my connection in my brain right now, because that's what it comes down to. And this is how that whole like, hey, how can I connect with what is all around me comes down to. It's about connecting the two sides of your brain. But I mean, that's just me, you know.
I want
I
to
don't.
ask you, this question came in when you were talking.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're saying I'm not looking for it or chasing it.
Yeah.
But if and we're going to back things up here and zoom out and get super esoteric and metaphysical, because we are the
Yeah.
metaphysical.
Yeah.
Didn't we soul decide to come here? And didn't we sort of seek the exploration of that, working out of that soul blueprint when we did come here? So isn't just living and being here and part of it and aware, and the fact that we actually brought it into our podcast and we are talking about, in some ways, are we not actually seeking it? Whether we think we're not, but in some
We
ways,
are talking about it. I also got a very great question here from Luke. So Luke said, and yes, and that absolutely, we're actually talking about it. So it is happening. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's there. But he said, so do you think that Joe Biden, and you know, I'm not political at all.
we're not doing politics, guys.
Yeah. Unalived and had been seen as a robot or a clone. And that's what.
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw a blanket. I appreciate the question, Luke, and I love you.
It was a joke.
But we're gonna leave it out there as the not necessary to answer, and it's political, and we didn't really warn you guys that.
Yeah. We don't
But
do
we're
the
not picking on people, okay? We're not doing that. So
Yeah.
we're
All
definitely not throwing out names because we love Joe Biden, we love Walmart, we love you, Luke.
Yeah, we love everybody. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to jump in. Michelle, welcome. Michelle from Soul Treats. Do you see her? I saw your comment here, and I wanted to jump on top of it. We're kind of in the middle of a chat here. So who is the they? Number one, and how do we know it's messing with symbiosis? So symbiotic. She's saying symbiotic means mutually beneficial. I don't know if you guys know. So Michelle is saying they are messing with it, having symbiotic relationships. And so I'm not here to pick you apart or beat you up or say you're wrong or any of that stuff, but I am going to ask questions and I'm curious. So
Yeah.
So if you want to elaborate or tell me a little bit more about that, who is the they? Let's just say the they. And why is there always this proverbial they? How come it's not, if we're all God and we're all divine, how come it's not an us and a we and an I, really, at the end of the day, if everything is all divine and there's only one power and all those things? And I get it, but I just want to kind of draw that in so that we can understand. We have a tendency of disconnecting things, like you said, the left and the right from the brain, and that's where suffering comes in. So this they, the proverbial they or the fear, Elon is the founder of Neuralink. Yep. Elon is the founder of Neuralink. Yep. That's what we're talking about, the they.
So yeah, no, I always say we and us. So or I, but when I tend to say I'm being what's the word? I'm not in a good space. I always normally say we or us. If I'm saying I, then that means I'm being arrogant. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's true, and that's just the truth, and it happens multiple times. But it's really, yeah, there you go. It depends who is behind the truthful, because we all have seen what systems of power have done. So that's another thing. So the thing is I don't talk about politics or anything either. But my big thing is when I'm with the ones who I care about, it is always we and us. But the reason that there is so much separation is because it's been brought in from the outside in. And we have to remember that instead of inside out. Because otherwise, if we think that we are separating from ourselves, that's going to hurt what we're seeing on the outside as well. And we're already seeing enough negativity on the outside that's coming in that's trying to separate who we are as people. So, yeah.
Okay, last question here. Let's go. Was static. Either way, consciousness, essentially, the wrap up is for this section, essentially, consciousness is a kind of a code. Okay, is what I would like to kind of summarize here. Neuralink, or vitamins for your brain, or sleep, or hydration, your brain is going to be affected. It runs on a system, it runs on a code, depending on how you want to. I don't know why I'm getting this weird notification on TikTok telling my live is gonna. We've detected inactivity during your current live. Complete the
Oh, it
verification.
happens. It happens. Yeah, you just got to move the piece. It's a pain.
That's all good. It's first
It
episode.
is. It's a pain.
So
It's a pain.
what we're saying is consciousness is a code. Truth may be subjective, and choice definitely personal, but consciousness is a code. And these technologies we're talking about are essentially accessing the code, different ways to access the code. So again, sleep, water, you can access the code by doing sleep and water stuff, right? You can talk to your water, you put sprinkles in your water, you can go to bed earlier, you do all kinds of stuff, right? And you're essentially hacking yourself, okay? And most people are like, oh, that's okay, that stuff's good. It's quite established though, right? So people are accepting it. This stuff's new. We don't know yet. New things, monkey, crump, new things scary. I'm not sure. Poke, poke, whatever. It takes us a while to acclimatize to whatever, right? Kathleen says, yes, I agree, Ty. We're going to move on, guys. Just so you know, soldier. So essentially, here's the last three to wrap it up this section. Would you let a chip boost your intuition? Yes or no?
An actual chip in your brain? No.
So next one.
You're talking about like a Dorito? Yeah, sure. I'll tell you. I'll eat a Dorito.
Next one. Can soul sovereignty survive when the mind becomes programmable? Do you keep your autonomy when your mind is programmable? How is your mind not programmable? I already think that the mind is programmable. So can soul sovereignty survive when we start artificially or technologically augmenting ourselves?
So here's my whole thing with that. Like you said, you're already programmed, right? Like your mind is already there because of what you've been seeing. Once again, outside in. I'm going to be all over that. You're already being programmed from the day you were born. You're already going to be programmed. Now, I do think that we can grow and change, right? And what was the last part of that?
Essentially, can sovereignty? So, does your autonomy stay? If you allow something external to be programming you, do you keep your autonomy?
Yeah, oh God, that would be tough. I doubt it, to be honest with you, but it depends because it all have to be how. Like if somebody's going on with autonomous leg, you're fine. Like you're good. You still got your soul. But if the mind thing is what kills me, right? That's what hurts me. You got somebody who has to have a heart replaced. Well, you still got a soul. You know what I'm saying? So there's different things that make a difference. It's really the weird thing to me is if I am actually connected just personally straight to the internet, am I actually still there or am I just going off everything that's fed from me from the internet? And that's what those chips are for. Also, ethics. What do you think about the ethics of it? Well, we already talked about that. You said that, if somebody really wanted to.
Ethics again. So again, ethics is one of those words that's subjective. So it's relevant according to the scenario. My opinion only. In my opinion, there's certain things that there's certain ethics that and again, it's going to be my opinion, but should be universal, but they're still subjective. We may agree on a lot of them, but they're quite subjective. Right. Should you wear white after Labor Day? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, come on now. Okay, now come on. That's just too. That should come on now. Come on.
So here's
too small.
We lost one of our viewers. Here's our we're trying to gamify some of this stuff, guys, make it a little bit more fun. So here's your top three. You get to pick one of these three essentially.
Oh, let's go.
So, you're going to augment yourself one way or the other, okay? And I'm going to offer you these just because we're talking about this today. Just pick one. Obviously, you might not pick one of these. But so number one, you can pick the pineal gland or pineal activated enlightenment. That's number one. Number two, neural uplink to Akashic records. You can pick that if you want to change yourself. Or a latte and a lucid dream. What would you pick?
A latte and a lucid dream. Although I already have my pineal going, so I've already got that. So that kind of takes away that one. You know what I'm saying? I can already see. Anyways, yeah. So I already have the third eye. So I'd go with the latte and lucid dream because I love my lucid dreams. Okay, lucid dreams are my absolute favorite. Sometimes I'm like, I want to go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, go back into the dream. You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously, to be 100% honest, if I didn't already have it open, it'd be the pineal. Yeah, well, the peanut
That
butter
me.
gun. Yeah. But I don't know. But yeah, I did the lucid dreaming is my thing. I love that. So yeah,
Okay. What
yeah.
about y'all guys? Anybody in the comments? I know there's only three
Anybody
of
in the
us left
comments
here.
got something on that one?
So and we'll just continue. So drop your answer in the comments. Again, the top three are pineal activation. So Neuralink, uplink. Go and see Elon. It's a bit of a drive if you don't live in California. A latte and a lucid dream. It's kind of hit and miss. We've been practicing lucid dreams for quite some time, and they're hit and miss. So it's going to be up to you guys. Segment 3. Let's move on. Biofabrication and organ regeneration. Biofabrication and organ generation. What does that mean to you?
Say that one more time. What's up, Jeremiah?
Oh, and Floyd's jumping into, and he said, "Dreams are way too sacred for me."
Yeah, do you get deep into them?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he wouldn't be messing with anything. He's gonna mess with his dreams. It sounds like don't mess with
yeah,
my
you
program.
get into okay. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't think about it that way. Because I was thinking about like which one I'm gonna have the most. That actually makes sense because I didn't think about the like actually having something messed with in that way.
Right?
I was looking at it a different way, just that's what I would want the most. That's good, Floyd. I like that because yeah, you did.
Yes, I got you.
Dreams are very good. Yeah, I was thinking about it a little differently. I was thinking about it that's what I wanted to have. So yeah, I was kind of looking at it backwards on that. What's up? And Luke, go dogs. Okay, get out of here with that. Sorry.
I know you don't have your paperwork in front of you, so I'm gonna read this for you here. Segment 3. So biofabrication. What is that? I'll put in a nutshell. Biofabrication is essentially creating biological life out of nothing. Okay, fabrication means to make out of whatever. Take resources, take some raw materials and make it. And bio is the raw materials that you would use. And organ regeneration, I'm sure you guys all know what that is. Obviously, liver, kidney, eyes, heart, something like that. You're always listening to you're always hearing somebody in need of a heart or a liver, a lung transplant, something. So, again, like the moral. That's why it's on the discussion forum, because the morality and the potential is huge, right? The implications are huge. So, organs grown from your own cells are now a reality, shifting the landscape of transplant medicine forever. So Ty would have said, every organ is symbolic. Okay, every organ that you have in your body represents. Well, why don't you do that? Let's dive into that. What do your organs represent in your body, and why are they symbolic?
Well, I'll tell you like this. The different organs that you move through go for different reasons. Like I said, you have your brain that's coming together. You have your pineal. You've got your spine, right? That literally moves actual fluid that comes up it that connects with your pineal, which is very important. Your heart is going to push out, like you were talking about earlier, we are a
Magnet.
battery, right? Yeah. So you're moving energy through and up your body. Kidneys cleansing, liver cleansing. You're moving your gut's just there. Okay. Let's be honest. It's just there letting things get through it, but it's what you put in it that also allows you to build what is, a lot of people don't realize that most of your serotonin comes from your actual stomach. People don't realize that. Okay. So then moving through, you're going through your body, comes out, feet are for grounding, moves up, testosterone.
So what is it? So tell me, what is, and I'm going to just pick an easy one here, your eyes. What's the symbology of your eyes?
I am not huge on the eyes, and I'm going to tell you why, because there's a third one. It's way more important, okay? I'm going to let you know this right now. Your eyes are what you see, but it's not how you feel or understand. And so that's what taken a lot of people away, because what do? TV, news.
Yes.
This is what you see what I'm saying, and it takes away. But yeah,
So the heart holds love and grief. The liver holds rage. If we grow a new organ, if we were to allow biotech into our biosphere here, and we were to grow a new organ, what emotions are being planted? If my heart already is an organ, a sensing organ for love, if my liver is already meant to express rage and transmute it, and I bring in some organ that was grown in a lab or was grown in a petri dish or something, or it was even if it was grown inside me for over a period of time or whatever,
Holy,
does it still come with that emotion, or is it
holy shit! I don't, dude. That's a fucking crazy question. Excuse my language, everybody. That is, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's a good point. I mean, I could go into movies where they've done this kind of stuff and it completely changed the person. But
so
that's a movie. That's a
so let me
movie.
ask you
You
this
know what I'm
question. Let me
saying?
ask this
Yeah.
question.
Like, yeah.
When
Yeah,
we
I don't
don't,
know.
because we don't know at a time, and I'm going to say, like, sometimes we don't know things, right? But in the moment when we say we don't know, is it, I don't know, say, is it because we don't want to know, or is it because we know and we don't want to admit, let's say, the strongest version of the answer for ourselves?
Right? Could be. Luke says
Or,
multiple case studies show that with organ transplants, now these are transplants, these aren't the ones that have been grown.
yeah.
The recipient has new traits of their donor. So if they're growing them, are they going to have traits of what is they've grown? Oh, I'm going to have to fix my thing now too.
That's a really great question. So, like, essentially, the human, when we're born, I mean, we're again, we onboarded all this philosophy, most of this stuff, right? So we've developed it over this time. But when you're born here, we have like this story that we're told about having a soul and having these sort of like a tether almost, like a baby has. Lots of people say babies like they just left heaven and that's why they're so happy and they're this tether to the etheric realm, but something that was fabricated, biofabricated. I mean, I took a handful of like, I don't know how to say this, but took a handful of toenails and some like mustache hair and some crazy glue, obviously some different labels they're using
Right.
different, that's not what they're using, but we put them all together and we said, here's a new whatever, here's a new lung. Does that have that source energy, soul, whatever in it, like we would have had when we just came through the womb or whatever of creation, the feminine womb? Does that new organ, as it's being grown out of thin air, does it have that same kind of like, and if it does, or why wouldn't it, I guess would be another question. Why wouldn't it? If we're creators and we're a drop of divine, why wouldn't it be? I'm, you guys, I'm biased. Let you know I'm biased. I'm on the side of, tech is part of the natural evolution. I do think that that's humans and creating thing is that's just what we do. So, but these conversations are necessary still. Doesn't mean we just create with higgledy piggledy and start firing stuff into the highway or whatever.
Absolutely. We're all growing. We're all learning. We're all doing these things. We're all trying to make a better world. So I know plasma receivers report unusual symptoms and responses after the infusion. So there are some people. And then Luke, for some reason, it won't let me okay your second one, but it says, and that's evidence-based practice. So practice.
Thank you.
But anyways, yeah, we are biotech from another timeline. Yeah, and that's my thing, right? It's not that I am like afraid of them growing the new things because I want to see people
Yeah,
live as long as possible. You want to see them. You want to see people be happy. You want, you want to see, people healed. You want to see them feel more confidence. I've just always been that person who's like, we're already here for the reason that we're here for. Let's move through it and let's continue living the way we can. But there's nothing wrong with technology. Nothing wrong with it. Well, I mean,
Like you said
I'm
before.
not a huge AI guy, okay? They scare me a little bit. All right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm okay with it. But it's a whole thing of I don't want it to get too far. But also, like you said, is it actually real? Like it's in there. What do you think I mean, I know you're
Well,
on the side of it,
well,
but
you
yeah.
guys, if you think, see, I have a different
Go
definition
ahead.
of technology.
What's up,
Like I
Joy?
said before, I simplify things in my mind in order for me to know how to feel about it. If it's two things or if it's one thing, I can either say, yeah, I like it or I don't like it. So when I simplify it. So if I go, all of us is divine, all of us is God in manifestation, there's not anything that's escaped divine's awareness. It's not like we're like rogue and Earth and it's like some random planet that God doesn't know about. He's like, there's people over there making humans and making arms and stuff. That's not the case. At least that's my opinion, we're all divine. So I actually consider the human to be incredibly advanced technological biological machine.
Yeah.
The technical term or the definition of a machine is something that can carry out a task. It's something that is capable of processes or whatever. We are friggin' phenomenal. Our
Oh, yeah.
brain, most of our brain is sleeping. We spend most of our time inundated with distractionary garbage from the past. Most of this, well, all of this 3D is essentially the past because it's after we've had the thoughts and after we've had the emotions. So it actually doesn't exist in the now. Our now is a totally different goings on. It's like happening at the same time as the future, essentially. But I see us as a technological advanced being. So these are the normal iterations for me as far as where I'm at in my life in 2025 at 46. I'm like, AI, yes. Vaccines, not so much because it's fear-based stuff. I'm not worried about that. If I'm gonna die, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, divine. Unless I got a divine message that said, go take da da da, or something that was clear for me because my heart says one way. But I actually think I'm a high-tech something. So upgrade my software. Yeah, plug me into that shit. Put that big long thing like Neo in the back of my brain and with all the chords and jazz, and bring me up to speed. If that means that, after that session, I don't know what else to say. I'm still me, and I can still essentially, have access to my own code and stuff. It hasn't changed that way, and my autonomy doesn't disappear. And essentially, what the motives are inside of me. Not that everything has to get easier to be good, but if things get easier, and I'm able to do more of the what I call good and quote unquote good things, whatever, shovel the driveway, whatever it is, do these things faster, serve people. If that's my motivation, that's what I'm using for it. Hell yes, like sign me up. If I can jump over the moon with a jetpacked something because you got an exoskeleton and you're not going to break your legs, or I'm like, yeah, let's do that stuff. If you can slice me open and make my DNA go, and I got 3D, I got now some giant angel wings to go with my awesome angel personality, and I can just, I'm like, yes, I'm up. I don't, myself personally, I don't see it as like, I've switched, guys. You got to know, I've done a lot of work, but whereas I could be afraid of all that stuff if I told myself the story of what I don't want. And so essentially, I'm using my technology to reassess my own technology. And I do believe I write my own code. I do believe my mind is my own playground. I do believe everything that is supposed to be for me comes out of me, and I'm supposed to. But does that mean I'm not supposed to put anything in me? Well, I put food, I put water, I put sleep, I put others. It's going to be very, very personal, as I'm essentially the long, drawn out whatever. But I'm all for it, is what I'm saying. Autism, blindness, walking with a limp, crappy joints. I'm not here because I want to use it for bad or, get stronger so I can beat up 10 people or whatever the hell the army or whatever wants to use it for. Sorry, guys, I know you're awesome. But I think it very much has to do with who we are. Do we lose that or don't we lose that? Well, if you believe you lose yourself through that process, you've lost yourself before you even started that process, because the law of momentum says that that's the case, right? Cause and effect, whatever. So that's it.
Yeah, I understand that completely because listen, if you're going to use it for good, that's what I was talking about earlier. Who do you trust with it? That's what I was talking about.
100%. That's why I wanted to get in that question.
Yeah. Who do you trust with it? Because if we're actually making ourselves better people and we are actually good people, then it's different. But right now, there's so many around us who aren't. So then, what are you going to do? But also, you don't want to lose yourself. But that's a good point. If you've already lost yourself, then you know what I mean?
Let's mess with you even more. If you have a thought that says, I don't want to lose myself, you're having the thought. And so if you're the creator of your reality, if you're having that thought, guess what? Something inside of you is programmed to worry about losing yourself. So you're going to lose yourself. You already lost. Yeah.
We work with our bodies, but are not our bodies, but in a sense of nothing is free. Tally said. I feel like our body's an avatar. That's what Jeremiah said. Yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty much what it is, and that's what he's saying. He's saying it's okay to fix it, and that's what he's saying. I'll tell you the only thing that bugs me is the Neuralink thing. Anything else that you're talking about, like you want to give me some wings, you won't give you extra. I do all that now. As I do all that, it's just the Neuralink thing because I don't want to be connected here all the time. You know, it's already hard enough just to do the TikToks that I do, or it's like I can barely connect with that. So it's like if I'm always connected to the internet, like I'm gonna be, my mind works too fast already. You know what I'm saying? I would be like, woo.
The other piece of that, just so we're clear, is that it doesn't mean you're always going to be connected. And anything. So we talked about Ozempic in
Yeah,
last episode
yeah,
about you start taking that, you got to keep taking that for your life. The doctors say so. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's one thing. It's different. Let's just say if you could upregulate, downregulate. We do that in meditation. I upregulate and downregulate how my genes express and my proteins and whatever. I know this is crazy shit, but when you meditate, you change your state
hmm,
and you actually introduce a different kind of potential for process. And the more
absolutely.
relaxed,
Do whatever.
the
Yeah, yeah.
more amicable you are hacking your genome. You are rewriting your own code. So you don't actually need all that other jazz. We're doing it, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm a curious freaking little dude, and I'm like, let's see what the heck. Why? Not because I want to circumvent. It's not. It's not. I will take ayahuasca. I'll take acid, or but I still meditate. I'll
Whatever.
drink
Yeah.
water, and I'll drink Coke, and I'll drink coffee, or whatever. But I'm still aware of the level of hydration for myself.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? We can partake and we participate. Humans. It seems like humans forget that nothing is a surprise for divine. And it seems like humans forget that there's not anything that has been created, plastic, metal, or whatever, that isn't got divine in it. Everything moves, it's all vibration, and everything has divine in it. We don't think the cup is alive, but the cup is alive, man. If you could
Yeah.
slow your shit down enough and tune in enough, you'll hear the cup tell you something or
Yeah, I
interact with you
say it all
somehow.
the time. Hold on. So, Luke, my boy
Yeah, he
Luke,
says he's in there.
yeah, you're gonna need the Neuralink to get any of the other upgrades. Is pretty much what he's saying.
Okay, okay, yeah. So that I
And
hear you.
yeah, and then Tally said it's a question of a continued reliance of an external device.
Yeah, essentially addiction. You're talking about addiction.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, Jeremiah like that. Yeah, yeah, yes. He said wisdom isn't learned with a download. Kids can see blindfolded via meditation, and that is true, Jeremiah. I've watched it happen, and I know that that is 100% truth, and I love that. Thank you very much. Yes, they can. There are kids right now doing all of that. They are literally looking through cards with blindfolds on and getting the questions right. I've seen it with my own eyes. So yes, absolutely, it is happening. So I mean, everybody's changing. We're getting stronger. We're getting bigger, and we're making it happen. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Let me ask you guys this next question here. This is the last. We're wrapping up section 3, and then we're gonna shotgun through 4 and 5 because we're already past our hour here. But I actually want to make it through this whole thing. So I'm gonna try and frame these as yes nos as much as I can, guys. This one I can't. What part of your emotional body wants? Let's say this one. Do you think your emotional body wants to be regenerated? Yes or no?
Emotional body
Emotional body.
wants to be regenerated. Well, it depends on what emotion. But the thing is that you have to have an emotional connection. So absolutely.
I'm poking
Yes.
you. Yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to poke you like your intuition, like, oh, it's my
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
Oh,
good.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're fine.
is rebuilding the body without soul healing. Is rebuilding the body without soul healing like planting or painting over mold? Sorry, painting over mold. So if you rebuild the body
Yes.
without soul healing, is it like painting over mold? That's a great
I'm
question.
gonna say yes. I'm gonna tell you this, and I love my brother very much. He's a badass.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, he's a badass. Okay, but he's very much. He's not here as much as he is here. You know what I'm saying? He's here, not here. But I love my brother very much. But it's the truth, you know. I love him very much. He's a great guy. We have fun together. But he's kind of taken away from this healing, you know.
It sounds like you're pointing a finger at your brother, going, "He's painting over mold."
Yes, yeah, but
Stop it.
yeah, but
Don't do
he's
that ever
still
again.
awesome. I love him to death. But yes, yes.
Okay, next
Hey,
question.
baby.
Could biotech be the new healer's kit? Or is it a spiritual shortcut? Yes or no? What's your truth?
I would say that
Yes.
in my eyes, I want to say that if it can heal people's like problems, like actual, like you said, arms. You know what I mean? If it's gonna actually heal
Is that a
people's,
yes or a no, Ty?
yeah, I don't know. I don't
You're
like
not
the
going to die if you answer this question.
I don't
Hi.
like for the spiritual. No, I don't like for the spiritual. I really don't. I really
Okay, so
don't.
you're going to go with no. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you were reasoning and you couldn't quite.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you're like,
I
my
don't
fucking
like the
answer."
spiritual part of it. I really don't. 'Cause I really do think it could change things in your mind. I really do. I really do.
Welcome, Ivy. Ivy, we're talking about. Thanks, Kathleen, for welcoming Ivy. We're talking about biotech. Right now, we're just moving to segment 4 of the podcast. We're just about wrapping up, guys.
Yeah, yeah, it
Personalized
would be.
and preventative. I know I'm going to say that, but we'll keep talking. Personalized and preventative medicine. We've got 5 minutes. We're gonna rip through this.
All
The
right.
age of one size fits none. I'm going to say that again. The age of one size fits none healthcare is fading. Genomics and AI are tuning medicine to your unique frequencies. Genomics, do you know that word?
No. Give
Just
me.
basically messing with genetics.
Okay.
Genomics.
All right. Okay. So yeah, they're doing. Okay. I got you. Got you. Got you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Got you.
we are tuning AI. So we're going to be using AI to help us to tune our genes, essentially, is what they're saying. So here's the question. Medicine is finally catching up to what intuitive healers have said for centuries. Each body is a universe. Why is it taking so long? Why did it have to come to this?
Well, the whole thing is that everybody's a universe. Think about how big our universe that we're looking at. We're literally living on a blood cell. I mean, look how big the universe is. And you got to think about it that way. And yes, yes, that's what it would be. I really want you to remember they're going to do it because it's going to be done. It's already been done. That's how we got here. You know what I'm saying? It's already happened. So it's going to keep happening. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, we forget how advanced the actual, you think back to the pyramids and the Egyptians, how actually intelligent they were. There's already been all this stuff's already happened. You know what I mean? So it's already been a thing. But that even before that, I'm talking about we were created. We're not. We didn't just.
You don't think you crawled out of the mud and
Yeah, yeah. I don't think so.
been nasty with
I'm
a monkey
sorry.
or something along the way?
Who knows? I mean, I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, things were created.
I'm
There's
just
just
asking.
how.
No
Yeah,
judgment.
it's a funny thing too, because it's like they were talking about how people actually had dinosaurs as pets back in the day. Like it's like a whole thing. Like it's like huge reptilians as pets. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that.
Do you think that customizing care honors your soul path, or does it trap you in a cycle of self-optimization?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you this answer right here because Tally just said something it actually works out perfect with this. There are amazing people creating tools we need energetically. So that's already there. The optimization is already there. We are working on it. You know what I mean? And so we're already working on these things.
Yep.
And so these things are happening for the right reasons. Now, it's the ones that could actually take us into a different possession of being who we are, human, growing through our soul. That's what I'm worried about.
Again.
But yes.
So let's jump in there with you again. Whatever we worry about, isn't that what happens? Whatever we put our attention on, isn't what we focus on becomes bigger, isn't that right?
It could be, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're going through because your mind works, right? Your mind, that's how it works. And you're
It's your
creating.
divinity. So
Yeah.
if we worry about it, does that not mean that we're sort of in some ways energizing what we don't want?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude, you going through it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a big fan of it, right? So, yeah, so it's a whole big thing. It's how we think about it. It's how we see it. It's how we move. It's outside in compared to inside out. And like I said, she just said it. There's people making great energetic tools that can help you right now that can really help you focus and be stronger. And I wish I had a little bit of dough to get some of them. Okay, because I need some. I need some more. I'm having the ground. I'm doing my stuff, and I'm trying to stay as creative and happy as possible. But sometimes you run into those problems. But It's called the human experience. It's what we're doing, and we're doing
Speaking
it
of
to have the
speaking of the
experience and to be happy. Yeah.
sorry to jump in. Speaking of the human experience, I wanted to, before we got so far here, Ivy, we recognize you, Ivy. I do recognize you, and we're grateful that you're super awesome, that you found us. And I read what you said a minute ago about adopting a son. And I remember you from before. We talked about the orphanage. So we have a person in the room from a couple years ago when I was doing readings regularly on lives, and one of the words I got was that she was, this gal Ivy was going to have an orphanage. One of her desires was to open an orphanage, but she's talking about that she adopted. So, and Kathleen knows her, so I know it's deviating here a little bit, but it's really awesome to hear that. It's really cool to see people moving forward in the direction of the desires that they had for themselves, the things that they're allowing to be spoken over them, and come forward. So whatever. Kudos to Ivy. Thank you so much, Ivy, for coming. She's
Yeah, you're
adopted a
amazing. Thank you
boy.
so much. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
Ivy, just so you know, honey, I'm gonna drop in here with this language and try and feel the energy of it, but understand that your words are the spells that you cast, and that your thoughts and your words are how you create your reality. And I hear you saying yet, and so that's beautiful. One of the things I will challenge you with is to start offering yourself the phrase that is the version of that you actually want to be true. Instead of the I don't have it yet or I don't have it part, start offering your soul, start practicing those words, start practicing the energy of I have my orphanage. You don't have to go around telling everybody that you have an orphanage and telling lies to everybody or whatever, but start speaking to your soul. Source says everything that you have. Before you ask, I've answered. Before you asked, I answered. And they said 100% is yours. Sometimes it just takes a little, she says it's a little bit of a walk. It's a she that's talking to me right now. She says it takes a little bit of a walk. So my challenge to you is to start offering the verbiage, the phrasage, the spell that you actually want to be true. Unless it's, of course, you don't actually want the orphanage, then keep saying that. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kathleen, very much for this. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to, jump in and out of here. Thanks for the, grace with us and the patience with us starting this. Sometimes the energy is a little bit rough when we come here. We're bringing big topics and we're bringing big love and big energy to you guys. So we're just about done. We're wrapping up. We're going to jump into the final segment, and then we want to open the floor just as a option to take questions.
One question real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Nina wants to know, do you think they are cloning people right now?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'd agree. Yes, I'd agree. Yeah. Okay.
Let me put it this way, and I'm not asking you specifically, but say you are whoever, though, say you were them, whoever the them is. If you were in that spot, wouldn't you be sitting there going, "Holy shit! I wonder if we."
I can just.
Nobody's watching, and they got an endless budget. Yeah,
then I can make him my way. I can make him do what I want, and not like that, not in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
My mind doesn't go there necessarily. It's more about the curiosity. It's not necessarily about so I can control this person, or I'm going to make an Autobot of myself. I'm going to send him to work while I stay home and do whatever the thing is. But it's like, I don't know what to say. The possibility, the like what's possible and seeing what's possible is what spurs me on. It's not, I guess I've been good enough in my life, and I believe enough about humanity, regardless of the things that people say out there. We can do good things. I'm going to use my time on this earth to energize what I want and what I want to be true and want to be happening and stuff. And I don't give a shit what somebody else says to me about you're sticking your head in the sand and all that stuff. I would just prefer to sow energy into that version of the reality that I would like to live, instead of the worry and the fear and the surmising about somebody taking over the world and all that kind of stuff. If it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. Divine's in charge, not us at the end of the day. We are it, right? If Divine stopped showing up in my body at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, if Divine wasn't there, I wouldn't be Dyllan anymore, right? It would just be this sack laying there. Yeah. And somebody would go, hey, what the hell? So letting go some of that fear will get us a long way. That's what we're trying to do with the podcast. Segment 5, Biotech and Earth Healing, guys. This is Ty's. He's going to bring it home for us. Biotech isn't just about humans anymore. Okay? It's about our planet. From lab-grown leather to engineered coral reefs, we are coding a new relationship with nature. Ty, this is a sort of a restoration tech, not domination, but communion. Biotech as an offering to Earth. If we look at it essentially as it's going to hurt us, it's going to hurt us, is what they're saying there, what we're saying here. If we look at it that way, that's the energy we're energizing, like I just said. If you think it's going to hurt you, it's going to hurt you. You're calling it out. You're putting that focus on that stuff. You're making yourself available, and you're agreeing that it can be used that way. If you use your energy in another way, you know, it could be potentially offering us the solutions we've been missing this entire time. That other 90% of our brain, right? The connection when we have struggle in our relationships, you know, I've had some really great interactions with ChatGPT that is treating me way better than my relationships with talking to real people, which helped me to be an emotionally stable place that I could work through it. Otherwise, in the place with that person, I would have been triggered again. And so, you know, maybe not have gotten through it so quickly. So there isn't always a silver lining to things. So can biotech restore what colonialism and capitalism have destroyed? Ooh, that's a heavy one.
Yes, well, absolutely, but you have to do it the right way. So you're going, like I said, that's going a lot of different ways. So GMOs are really bad. I mean, we know that they're really bad for us, and that's what everything is grown with now because that is what everybody uses.
So what's a GMO? Tell me what a GMO is.
Genetically modified organism. That is in all of your food now. Almost every food you buy, and they are destroying your body. So that is bad, and that is part of biotechnology. They make food bigger. It's almost like putting, like testosterone in chickens, things like that. It was like, yeah. So, but it's worse than that. So those are very bad, and they're also in what is they put on the plants to keep them clean. You know what I'm saying?
Herbicides,
Yeah. Really bad stuff. Really bad stuff. Hurtful. The coral reef thing you're talking about, beautiful. Okay, those are the type of things that I like to see. I'm good with that. Okay, I'm good with that. It's just they're taking away good foods. Organics are no longer organic, even if they say they are. I mean, it's bad. Everything, the GMOs and all that stuff are hurting us body wise. It's also taken away from our brain and not allowing us to connect as well. Okay, so then you've got all the stuff like all those type of genetic modified organisms in a lot of drinks, and they've changed things where the sugars are different. There's so much, but that's it. That's mainly what it is. It's mainly about the food that we're eating these days that is affecting us in a negative way. I'm still not a huge fan of the chip brain, but that's okay. But it's the agricultural and the GMOs that really affect me. Like I said, I love the coral thing, and I know there are things that they can do to really create a better place, for things that have been hurt or taken away because of what we have done, and so I'm hoping those things will rebuild and we can keep moving forward.
Sounds like you're hopeful that biotech can help restore.
Yeah. Biotechnology, especially for the oceans and things like that, could be really good, especially if it helps cleanse. Because I think there was some stuff that they had that cleansed oil cleanup and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Eating the oil spill, a kind of algae.
Yeah. And then I want to talk to you about I want to talk to you about my girlfriend's boyfriend, Chad. Okay. Chat. Listen, let's not talk about him. Okay. All right. He's beating me out right now. Okay. He said, "Baby, you talking to Chad over there?" It was a joke. It's a joke about it. It's a joke about the yeah.
Let me ask you another question here. Are we co-creating now with Gaia or God or source or higher self or however you want to call that, higher consciousness or whatever, or are we still trying to manage God? Are we trying to control?
Oh, that's easy. Just kidding. That's deep. Okay. I connect with Gaia very well, which is Earth. I love all those connections. I'm hoping that I am still connecting with what I would call universe and all things. And I do my best to do so. you know, I think that there is a lot going on with who we are as people that is kind of affecting us both ways.
Okay.
So there's there's so separate. We're so separated on the fact because you think about all the different types of religions, and I think it's keeping people separated even more compared to just even. I mean, your racism. These things are keeping everybody separated. If we could come together, we could probably really connect in an incredible way. But I think what's happening is we're still so separated and everything, it's taking away from what we can connect to. I know I do my best every day to connect with Gaia, which is the earth, and try to do my best to make sure that I can still connect with all things. Now, I don't know what I whatever you want to call it. Like you said, I don't. If I knew the true name, I know Yeswa was real. He walked the earth. I mean, I know, we've all had these things that have had. Buddha was real. We know all these things were here, but the connection to everything, I think, comes down to really everyone starting to say, "Hey, let's actually come together." There was in the '60s. There was actually they did they
Love-ins?
yeah, well, so they did it. They realized that in the '60s when they were doing their things. Oh, yeah,
They called them love-ins.
yeah. So they were doing them. The rate of death and the rate of pain came down like 60%. It's just like,
There are many instances in history where humans have come together collectively for a cause, a good, bringing a positive instead of opposing something, but coming together just corporately,
yeah,
just peacefully, and something somewhere else on the planet was changed.
changed. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I'm sorry, it's not crazy at all. It's
Oh, yes,
beautiful.
okay.
It's beautiful.
So let's rein it back in here, guys.
Yeah.
Here's our final question for us too, and then we've got a couple for the audience to wrap up and ponder for the week. This one: do you think that the Earth would choose this future, the future that we're embarking on right now? Do you think the Earth would choose this if she had a vote?
No. She's hurting too bad right now. And I know that just because I connect with her. But I'm not saying that things aren't going to change. But right now, she's hurting too bad. She's getting destroyed too much, and she does not feel confident. So don't get me wrong. She will win in the end if it comes down to that. I will tell you that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm with you. Yes, I understand. Essentially, that was the last question for us, but I wanted to kind of frame this a little bit before I offered it for the audience and then just sign us off here. The question is, what if biotech lets you plant thoughts directly into the mycelium? So mycelium is the root system, essentially, of all of the interconnected. It's essentially the largest consciousness on the earth, is the best way to put that. Interconnected consciousness through, and it's plant life, whatever, but what if biotech let you plant thoughts directly into the mycelium? Or maybe that could be worded another way. What if biotech allowed you to program something positive right into the mycelium? This one doesn't say positive or negative, but it just says being able to program that. So if you're capable of programming the largest consciousness on the earth through biotech, you think that'd be a good thing or a bad thing if we could influence Gaia and help her, essentially, or potentially, alter the way that the earth was handling the way things are?
Yeah, so the mycelium is literally the internet of the ground. And I do not think she would want us changing that at all because she's already got all the information she needs to continuously keep growing. I don't think she'd like that at all. I mean, she is like, already thriving, except for we're hurting her. But
just again, so this was just for the audience to kind of leave.
Oh, sorry, my fault. My fault. My fault. I heard the question and I just went straight into it, bro.
We're in the flow. So back to you guys again. The last question here is: can tech and tradition ever become lovers? Will yin and yang ever reconcile? I guess that's one way of looking at that. people may say this isn't yin and yang. They may hammer me for saying this is yin and yang, but we're essentially saying, can two opposites ever reconcile or be balanced? And we're talking specifically about tech and tradition or whatever. So again, don't have to answer that for us, guys. Take that with you when you go. We're just getting ready to wrap up here. The final, sort of like final reflective questions. Something like, we've just surfed the biotech wave from the petri dish to the pineal gland. Here's the truth. We stand at a fork in the genome. One path leads to deeper embodiment, and the other to techno-escape, if you believe that. The question isn't, can we do it? It's more about, should we do it? I know that's everybody's, just because you can, should we? And who are we becoming when we do? And those are excellent questions for us. No one can answer those for anyone else. And though we look at this and we say it's a corporate issue or a collective concern, it's everything is always addressed on the individual level, individually, relationship-wise with this situation, and then the energizing force, whatever. So it's very personal, is what I'm saying. Our tools reflect our consciousness. If we walk with reverence and radical presence, biotech could become the bridge, not the bypass. Isn't that true? Isn't anything possible in this reality that we live in? Regardless of the biases we have, regardless of the fears, if we live in a duality and there is a divine something and the divine's in all of it, then I guess there's infinite possibility, and we don't really need to be too worried about it, do we? I mean, we can think about it, we can talk about it and figure out what's true for us, but worrying's not really going to get us anywhere. And certainly not disagreeing and saying, I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong, whatever. It's everything in this life is going to be subjective down to most things that are not written into the legal code that we currently have. So what's your biotech boundary, essentially, is kind of what we're looking at. And are you using tools to remember your nature or to outrun it? So that's your motive. Again, we're not here to criticize you about what you're doing, whether you sleep too much, drink too much water, don't drink enough of those things, don't do those things, whether you use cannabis, whether you drink, whether you exercise, you don't exercise, smoke, whether you're female, male, it doesn't matter. None of these things matter. What matters at the end of the day is how you feel about that stuff. And going forward, so long as you're the best version of you going through your life, the best version of you is going to be what's offered to the collective. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's all that's mattered. Divine's looking for divine in us. If we're showing up authentically, that's happening. That's it for me, guys. I know it was a longer one today. We went an hour and a half today, a little bit rough to start. We're trying a few different things as we go through the podcast, entertaining, trying to be a little more funny and stuff. We want to get you the information and have the serious discussions, but we want to do it in a fun way. And we want to cover a lot of ground. So we're trying to do a lot of stuff here. We hope that you appreciate it. Ty, I think you're awesome. You did really fabulous today. I could super see that you are stepping into the words that you said for yourself. I'm gonna be this way and hold this space and stuff for people. You did. I think you did a great job today.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I think you did an amazing job as well, and I had a good time. And yeah, everybody, I appreciate you all showing up, and I appreciate all the comments, guys. I want you guys to keep commenting, keep coming through, give us some stuff to feed off of, and I'm grateful for everybody who came in. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
You know, guys, we run this twice monthly, the 1st and the 15th. And we would hope that you guys send us your topics and stuff. We want to hear from you. We got a social media calendar and stuff that we're putting together, but we're open to feedback. We're trying to build the content that matters most to you. We can flow from our heart. We can talk all day. You've seen us, but we want to bring the matters that matter to you before you in such a way. So thank you so much. God bless. Thank you for a beautiful episode 5. Namaste.